Welcome to the Navigating Dental Insurance Podcast, where we don't take from insurance companies. Here are your hosts, Mr. Jordan Comstock and Mr. Ben Duine. This podcast is sponsored by BoomCloud Dental Membership Software, www.boomcloudapps.com, and Veritas Dental Resources, www.veritasdentalresources.com. Enjoy the show.
What's up, everybody? My name is Jordan Comstock. I'm the founder and CEO of BoomCloud. Today, we're going to be talking all things money with my buddy here, Reese Dog Harper.
The salute to the audience. I'm excited about it.
Yeah, we got Reese in the BoomCloud studio here. We're also going to be publishing this on the Say No to PPOs podcast. So, hi to our website visitors and hi to our podcast listeners.
I love it. It's a good podcast, man. Makes me think of it's a drug thing. Say no.
That's
to
exactly
PPOs.
when Ben and I came up with the topic. Say no to PPOs. What could we name the podcast? And he's like, I don't know. It's got to be something against PPOs. I'm like, say no to PPOs, dude. It's like say no to drugs, bro.
It was easy.
So it was easy, right, to come up with that name, and it's worked every time we say it. You know, in the dental industry, people chuckle. They're like, nice.
Yeah.
So
it's good.
So yeah, it's a fun podcast. But Reese is here today, hanging out with us, and we're gonna learn about a lot about money today.
Yeah, man, and how I think a lot of how your product and kind of how dental membership programs kind of, you know, have a big part to do with, you know, I think what can help people grow their wealth too. So
totally.
Yeah.
So why don't you tell our audience? I'm sure everyone knows you.
Probably not. Surprisingly, the one thing I have learned is no matter how many people get to know you, you still no one knows you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So my name is Reese.
Yeah.
And Jordan and I have been friends for a while. I started my practice in 2003, helping dentists make smart financial decisions.
Nice.
And I was trying to, you know, I started out like working with a lot of business owners, and so dentists actually became the focus in about 2007.
Yeah.
And it happened after I started seeing like how every dentist was, not every business owner was the same. A lot of them were asking me different questions, and they struggled with different things. And I think if you really want to help somebody, you have to find the real underlying challenges that face their unique occupation.
Yeah,
I
agree.
As you know, like a SaaS model software business has its own dynamics.
Yes.
It's got its own like team structure.
Totally.
You know, you have customer success department, you got sales department, you've got dev department, you've got your media department and marketing, and you've got your copy and your content, and it's like dental practices don't look like that.
No.
You know, they've got
completely different.
the front, and they get the back, and they got hygiene, they got assistants, and they've got associates, and they've got, if you're a specialist, you've got different staffing requirements, you got different outsourced vendors and different overhead requirements, and so as a financial planner, if your goal is to try to really help people make good decisions, you can't do a really, really good job for
focusing on a broad
spectrum. You just, it weakens your kind of knowledge of a problem space. And so, you know, I think there's some truth to some common rules can cross boundaries, but especially when you start to scale. If you say, well, if I have an associate in my practice and I want him to help people and not just be me, well, as a business owner, I can probably give advice to other business owners pretty well. But when you start getting to where team members are trying to give advice to other people,
true,
it starts to break down unless you're really laser focused. Because my team of advisors are extremely capable when it comes to giving advice to a dentist. You get them outside of that spectrum, and they're not going to be as good as maybe someone who, if it was a car dealership owners, I know a guy in Detroit who does just that as a financial advisor, and he does really, really well for car dealership owners. You know, you get him outside of that, and he's like doesn't know anything about
this industry.
Well,
I mean, I think the more a business can specialize, whether it's a service like a software like mine or service like yours, the better it can perform for those customers or clients.
Totally. Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of what I found. You know, starting BoomCloud, we focus on one thing, and we focus on one clientele, right? And we're if we were to focus on different verticals or different industries, it definitely complicates it. Obviously, that's the goal down the line. But when you can focus on one industry and build a team focused on dentists, you can better serve those clients.
Yeah, it helped us build a lot of knowledge. I think we know more in every one of these occupations has like we call them jobs they're trying to get done, and they're not the same for every occupation has different jobs they're trying to get done, and so you get to know the jobs of each customer a lot better if you can narrow down the focus.
Yeah,
so
I agree. So you started your practice focusing on dentists, or and you've grown it.
Yeah, we have dentists in
well.
every state in the country, and we've got remote financial advisors in different markets that are helping kind of give people a local touch. We work with clients of different scale, associates and basic owners and large DSOs and single to multi-location practices with no associates or multiple associates. A lot of specialists.
You think it's just one industry too. There's all those categories.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, pedo, ortho, endo, perio, OS, like they all have their different, unique kind of attributes.
Absolutely.
So.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. So
Right.
I think it's good that you focus on helping
Yeah.
the industry with money.
Yeah, it helps.
Yeah. So the first question I have for you
Mm-hmm.
is how does a dentist know whether he's making smart financial decisions or not? Like, is there a way for him to assess that?
Yeah, I think when you start out looking at this, people do it the wrong way. They look at like how much money do I make? Like how much do I make every year? That's
like top line revenue.
Yeah, or collections, or
collections.
personal income, personal
Okay.
take home, or top line collections,
Okay.
or any kind of like annual revenue or annual number. They look at that as kind of like as long as it's going up, like I must be doing good.
Yeah.
Or they look at it like based on if they're paying off their debt. Like if their debt gets paid off, then that feels like it was great.
Yeah.
And, I think
Which is
those
a
are
milestone or a step towards.
Yeah, and income. All those are steps that make up a picture of someone. But there's one number that really shows you whether someone's decisions are actually making them wealthier, if they're moving in the right direction. And it's the same for every person. And it has different words that people use to call it the same thing. It's worth or net worth, or your total, what you're worth, or everything
Assets
you're worth.
minus liabilities.
Yeah,
whatever.
your debt. You subtract your debt from everything you own. Just add up all your stuff and subtract your debt, and then whatever you got left is what you're worth.
And sometimes, like that comes with like the evaluation of a business, right? Like how much is the business worth? Like that.
Well, especially when it comes to a business owner. See, if you've got a W-2 and you're working for someone, then it's pretty simple. You just like look at your 401k and your mortgage.
Yeah.
And that's it. But when you look at a dentist, it's like they might have 5 to 7 debts. They might have equipment debt, cone beam debt. They've got the TI debt, the build out debt,
office.
the shell construction debt. Then they've got the acquisition debt. They've got the expansion debt.
Yeah.
Got student loan debt that's usually bundled into 10 or 12 different loans.
Wow. Yeah.
So on their financial statement, they might have like, when they in your 30s, or early 40s, they could have dozens of debts.
Wow.
And then on the asset side, they have personal and practice bank accounts, usually a variety of them. They've got accounts for the kids. They've got accounts for them personally that they spend out of. They got a variety of credit cards because they're trying to earn different kinds of Sky Miles. And they've got like 401ks. They've got SEPs, Simples, Roths, traditional IRAs, profit sharing plans, defined benefit plans, mutual fund accounts, stock options that they might be playing with. They've got like a lot of assets. They got really sometimes a vacation home and a primary residence, and it's like just a lot of stuff going on. And when you look at everything and add it all up, and then you subtract all the debts, you get that number. And if that number is moving in a positive direction, that's a good
You're
sign.
making good decisions.
But it should be moving in a positive direction at a ratio of what you're earning every year. So if let's say a dentist might have a practice that generates $250,000 a year of income personally. Well, his net worth should be climbing by a certain percentage of that. And
is there like one percentage to look at?
When you're in your early 30s or your late 20s, you're probably not going to grow your net worth by much more than 20 or 30, maybe 40% of your annual income.
As a dentist.
As a dentist.
Okay.
And then because you're going to have taxes and you're going to have a lot of like you have some living expenses.
Yep.
And you have 11 kids. Different things like that. I just met someone today with 11 kids. I was like, are you kidding me?
Wow.
I'm like, what are you
Do
thinking?
they live in a shoe?
Yeah.
No, that's 12, right?
It was great. Yeah. I mean, he is still able to do it until he is a 12. So, and when you get to be in your 40s and 50s, it's a similar for the higher that someone's income goes, the more of that can go towards building your net worth. But a lot of times what you'll see is people will make...
They raise their
they make money, and their net worth stays flat. Yeah. I have a lot of data that I've seen.
They're heavy spenders.
They're heavy spenders. They make a bad investment in the practice. The practice declines in value, right? Because your practice value makes up your net worth. So if the practice is declining in value, if collections are going down, and then that assets, and maybe you're adding debt. Maybe you're adding TIs and a cone beam and some equipment. So that's effectively eating into your net worth because your practice doesn't go up when you buy a new piece of equipment. It kind of stays the same value.
Yeah.
And then if your collections go down and you add a cone beam and you add a CEREC and you build out your new space, but your collections are flatlining, you're just eating into your net worth. And that happens a lot. So a lot of people, if you don't make the right investments, if you don't focus on the net worth as your primary metric, then you can kind of get sidetracked with like, oh, look, my income's up though, or my collections are up, but look, my debt's gone, or I paid off my student loan. Or our house is now owned free and clear. Yeah, and that isn't necessarily a good way to track progress. And the business owners like you, and who's you start out in building a business. Sometimes if you don't give yourself credit for that business value, you need to kind of regularly. For our clients, we try to value the business at least every year in a pretty formal way. Not like. Always pay for evaluation, but collect the data and kind of use some agreed upon metrics that we feel like are safe to sort of say, has the practice gone up and how much? Because sometimes you don't have a lot of liquidity left over in a year because you reinvested it back in your business, but your business might have jumped up $300,000, $400,000 in value. It's important to give yourself credit for that and go, you know what, even though I didn't get that much cash out, my net worth still went up. Because if your net worth goes up more... I mean, here's the real trick, dude. Like, if you want to look at people's entire lifetime spending, there's a thing called lifetime earnings I look at. Like, how much money you made every year of your life from when you started. You're 29 or you're 26, you got out of school, and so you take what you earn every year and you just add it up. That's your lifetime earnings. So the ratio of what you made to what you're worth varies dramatically person to person. Yeah. So one person could make...
From practice to practice.
Person
to person, There's so many variables.
But it just shows you, like, how much has someone done with what they've had? How good have they done with what they've had? Because some people, it's fine. Like, I've been a median income earner before where my income's been barely above the national average. But in years where that might have happened, there's still an opportunity to grow your net worth by making smart investments, growing the value of your business, having... those are the two primary ways, right? You have investments that grow big, or you have the practice that grows big, and you could make, $30,000 one year and feel like you just went backwards as a dentist with all their debt payments, but the practice went up by $1 million. And it's like you should.
So the asset grew.
Yeah, you should feel, and it's just important to get down in that level of detail because when you're trying to like evaluate your PPO exposure and you're trying to evaluate your membership plan, you're trying to evaluate your revenue streams and your practice and look at your overhead, and if you're not tracking your net worth, and you sometimes just make the wrong decisions because you're making either feel like you're sucking and you're really actually doing pretty well, or you feel like you're doing great, you're actually doing kind of mediocre, and the real metric should be how good have you done with what you've had, and
which is net worth is
where that comes. Of all the income you've made in your whole life, what's your net worth now? If you're 50 years old and you look back and say I've made $2 million of lifetime earnings and my net worth is $1 million, probably haven't done that well with what I've earned. If I've
bought
only earned
boats.
Bought 2 boats. If I have $2 million of earnings and I'm worth $6 million or $5 million, then I've made good decisions. And to get there, it just starts by just having discipline to track it in the first place. Start by tracking it.
Tracking your net worth. every month, every year?
I do it every quarter.
Every quarter?
I don't like to do it every month. It gets
Every
like
month
kind of
is
like
good.
tedious.
So every quarter, track your net worth, and that's basically looking at all your assets,
Everything
the
you
value
own.
of the assets,
Yep.
everything you own, from business to house, and if you own the practice building,
Practice value, the buildings, real estate.
all that stuff. Take that, add it together, and then minus all your debts.
Yep.
Or your liabilities.
Yep. I don't like to say
You
liabilities.
like debts better.
That's not that's too fancy word.
That's too
Liability?
fancy.
Do you say liability like debt?
I'm so
Yeah.
fancy.
What would you prefer saying?
I mean, I say both.
Okay.
I'm a fancy guy.
See,
dude.
and I think that's where people get confused. Like,
Yeah.
They're like, is it liability or debt? I'm like,
Well,
it's the same thing.
Debt is a liability.
It's the
It's
same
the same thing.
But so I
Yeah.
try to keep it as simple as possible. So whatever works for you, use that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah. I love it. Cool. So track your net worth. That's the first tip.
Yeah.
To understanding whether a dentist is making good financial decisions or not.
Yeah. Yep.
Cool. Now I want your mind on membership programs and how practices generate predictable recurring revenue. What are your thoughts on that in a practice?
Okay. Well, I think every if you're trying to maximize your lifetime earnings, the thing I was talking about, which generates there's net worth from that. That there in the practice, there's only really like a couple ways that you can accomplish growing your net worth or growing your lifetime earnings, right? And that's either through through some increased amount of profitability, and you do that through cutting your overhead or by raising your revenue. And like in my experience, at least, most practices don't have a very good handle on their revenue streams, period.
Yeah.
So they don't know.
Oh, because they don't control it.
Yeah,
insurance companies do.
Yeah, they don't feel like they have any control over how much revenue they're going to gain. So how much exposure they have to Delta versus, in this market, Select Health or whatever insurance provider.
Company it is. Yeah.
And so I think that in any business, the thing I really, really dislike, about insurance is that it hides the real cost of doing business from the patient and from the practice. And so people struggle to make progress. And I'm kind of agnostic as to whether I think people should start out with insurance or not, because I think it's like anything when you're getting your fixed cost paid and getting your business off the ground, ramping up with some marketing basically that is given to you by some insurance companies.
That doesn't. It doesn't cost cash.
It costs cash.
Profit, right?
Costs a lot of profit, and so there's an opportunity cost to that, and you got to decide if it's worth it. I know a lot of scratch starts now that are going to scratch start fee for service. Yeah. And that's.
I know a bunch too.
Yeah, and so it just depends on the market you're in, the city that you're in, the zip code that you're in, and how much competition you're going to be dealing with if you don't. But in my experience, that the dentists that understand their UCR and understand what they're giving up by using insurance, that's a really important first step.
Yeah.
Because you're going to be able to improve your profitability without that's the way. You shouldn't be trying to improve your profitability by cutting staff wages. In my experience,
that's the worst. That's one of the worst things you can do. That kills the morale.
Yeah.
If you're paying somebody, unless they're doing a bad job, right? But if you're paying somebody and you cut staff wages, that's the easiest way to kill the morale of your team.
Yeah.
Which is what's really making a good portion of who's helping you make the value of your practice. So.
Yeah, you kill your marketing budget, you kill your team budget. I just don't feel like it's the first place to look.
Yeah.
I think dentists don't. In my experience, at least, I think it's hard for most dentists to feel like they can even know where to tackle this problem from, at all. Yeah. It's
a beast of a problem that they have.
Yep. And I just think it's really important to try to experiment with how to improve the total revenue you get per visit.
Yeah.
As much as you can. You have to experiment with that a lot. And you shouldn't be. I think getting a membership program in place to start that testing process it's just a no-brainer. I just think you've got to you can say all day long, fee for service is never going to work in my market, or I'm not going to be able to do this, but until you actually put
some effort
into it and put something in front of a patient and ask them if they would rather have this option or would like this option, you just won't know. So I think testing is just really critical.
Testing is really critical. I mean, we've seen practices when they start their journey on creating a membership program, reducing dependence on PPOs. I mean, within a year's time, they've got hundreds. Some even have over 1,500 patients signed up, paying them monthly and yearly fees. Mm-hmm. You know, which is what you just said. It helps them control the profitability of those patients, right, that are inside of that membership program. Yeah. Versus, you know, reducing your fees. You know, the average PPO discount, I think, is like 43%, according to Ben 2NA. That may be more or less in your area, but
I like to default to Ben on everything and make him hold the bag.
I do that too.
Sourcing, like we're not gonna source an actual site.
Yeah,
just like Ben, according to Ben, like he'll have to prove it.
Yeah, just go ask Ben.
Look,
he'll go.
Any stat that we throw at you, just gotta go talk to Ben about it. Yeah, I like it. That's all I always tell him.
That's all I do, man. That's why I have Ben, because he's the source of everything.
Yeah, don't you think? I think on that note, like. When you're, I guess as a practice is going along, I feel like a lot of times there's that tendency, there's just a tendency for people to resist starting. Well, let me back up and say this. Yeah, there's a tendency to resist change, but there's also a tendency to. I think you underestimate the amount of overhead that you spend trying to collect. Yeah, and manage the insurance relationships as well. I think you can probably cut. I mean, it's probably I don't know as much about this as Ben would, but it seems to me like at least a half of a staff person or 3/4 of a staff person. In many cases, a full-time staff person that you're cutting. If you just say, you know what, like there's no more insurance collections, there's no more reimbursement, there's no more coordination of benefits. There's just like monthly auto drafts happening every month. Now our revenue's like completely predictable, and it just reduces overhead as much as it does stabilize the revenue and create like a little more predictability, which helps the value of the practice.
Which is good for any business.
Yeah, I mean, it helps the valuation as well. You know.
Yeah, we had a valuation expert come on and talk about recurring revenue and what that does, you know, for evaluation of any business, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. You know, and I shared my experience when I bought out all my business partners here at Boom Cloud, and I had to go through a formal evaluation, and we are all recurring revenue here. Yeah. So that I kind of shared my thoughts on what recurring revenue does to a business, you know, that has it. But yeah, I think that's good. So reducing dependence, you know, on insurance definitely can help you control your profit margins, which will then in turn help increase the value of hopefully your net worth.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. Because if you can get more value out of your business, then you're going to get more in regards to net worth.
Yeah, I think there's one really critical thing about that. That's people, I think from financial planning perspective, if you have whatever the value of your practice is, that's going to be the thing that you'll sell and pay the least amount of tax on throughout your life. Like the annual income that you earn actually is taxed at a much higher rate than the sale of the practice. And the amount that you get from the sale of the practice actually allows you to invest money more aggressively in your early years than you would otherwise be able to. For example, let's say you're going to get $1 million of value out of the practice from after taxes. Well, if you knew that you're going to get $1 million out of the sale versus, let's say you're going to get $750 or $500 or 1.2 or 1.5, right? That valuation spectrum that you could get, it affects how you invest your money in your 30s and 40s, because the time frame that you start, let's say your money in your 401k and your mutual funds and your retirement oriented investments, there's a time frame that you have to invest them for in order to kind of maximize the return. And the longer your time frame,
the better.
The more aggressive you can be, and the higher the return you can get. And so if your practice value is going to, if you're going to sell your practice and you're going to pick up an extra, let's say you spend, $7,000 or $8,000 a month, after your mortgage is paid, and that's like a normal living expense that you might be comfortable with. The average dentist spends during his accumulation years around 15 actually per month. And if you look at, by the time so that'd be a little low. I think you probably should say 10 is a good median number to use for spending. So if you have a $10,000 a month spending number, if you had a practice that was valued at $500,000 more than it would be if it wasn't hitting profitability strides and it wasn't as valued as highly, you're going to be able to last. When you sell that practice, you're going to spend that money almost right away, because when you sell a business, you don't have a long time frame to go and invest it.
Yeah.
It just turns into cash, and you're either going to reinvest it in something else that is like another company because you had plenty of money, you didn't need the money, or if you're like most people, like most dentists, you're going to spend the money because you need it.
You need it to live off of.
You need it to live off of.
Yeah.
So if you've got an extra 5 to 7 to 8 years of living expenses that you can generate, that you get from the practice, that's more than what it would have been had you not had the valuation that you could have gotten.
Yeah.
I mean, what it lets you do is have your investments just defer for another 5 or 7 years, another 8 years, beyond where it would have been. And so when you're looking at your investment, goals, your investment types, the things you can own in your account, the stuff that grows more is more volatile, goes up and down more, but over a long period of time, it gives you a much higher return.
Yeah. So,
for example, you can put money in something that's going to pay you 3% a year, that's kind of flat and stable, or you can put something that's going to make you, 10+%, but it's going to go up and down quite a bit. But as long as you've got 7 or 8 years to hold it for that long of a period, then you'll be fine. You're going to get a higher return.
Yeah.
So the more you can get in selling the practice, the longer you can invest your other investments. And so that's why I always argue to people that the first place you should put money early in your career is back into the business, to get it to maximize its profitability, clean it up, get the right staffing.
So it's important to reinvest into the practice.
Yeah.
In the early stages.
Earlier, it's much more important to get the practice higher in value and more profitable than it is to buy real estate.
Yeah.
Early on,
because real estate's more slow.
Yeah, real estate's
takes a lot of capital, whereas the practice may not take it nearly as much.
Yeah, to buy real estate, you have to put money into it as a down payment, typically, some kind of capital injection to get it going. And that money you have to pay taxes on first. So you earn the money, you pay taxes, then you got to put it into real estate as down payment. Where a lot of times that's not a great time to make that decision when your business is starving for capital in those early years.
Yep.
So people get obsessed with real estate investing really on in their life, but it robs the business of like premium small amounts of cash that it could have had to then make that investment in a membership program or the right office manager or pay for the right location.
Yeah, because that's huge. That's very important.
Yeah, and so I feel like the practice needs to get the bulk of the money early on, and the order in which you should put money early in your career is also the order in which it's going to come out in the end. So like you start with the practice and get that going because it's the first money you're going to get out. Yeah. And you build the practice early because you're going to sell that first. Yeah. When are you going to sell the real estate? Typically like at the end or never.
At the end or never, yeah.
Yeah, and so you don't need to buy that as early. Yeah. Because it's not going to generate as much income for you when you need it.
You may have to put a down payment on a rental property for whatever you're buying the house for. Yeah. Whatever percent, like 20%.
20%,
which can add up depending on the location and the size
could be a couple $100,000 or $100,000 or more.
If you had that cash already, it would be smarter to put it into a business.
If the business has the potential to grow, if it could grow, and most dental practices, what you'll see is they just underachieve their potential for a long time. So rather than, like, if you think about it, the lifetime income concept that I was talking about is you're trying to maximize the amount of money you earn over your lifetime. Yeah. And have the highest net worth possible for that amount of income. If someone goes from 200 to 220 to 240 to 260 to 280 and they go slowly up to 300 plus over a decade, that's not as good as going from 220 to 320 and then holding at 320 for that whole decade, right? If you get your income up faster and sooner, you're going to have more earnings. True. And your net worth is just substantially higher.
Yeah.
You're snowballing this
And you
whole
can use
process.
you can use what the higher earnings
to buy real estate in year 5 and pay cash for it now.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, it's just the real estate and even the 401k and the market investments. You know, they don't have the power that a practice investment has.
Yeah.
And
just business in general, because I'm thinking me here at Boom Cloud.
Yeah, it's like that's what you've actually done really well with that. Like you've deferred a lot of the other stuff at the expense of growing the business.
Yeah,
and that's where your ROI comes from. If you look back over 5 years, you look back and just go, man, my net worth without making that investment in my own company.
Yeah,
I'm basically it just wouldn't have really done much.
Yeah, and I think just look at me as a business owner and comparing myself to other practice owners, because you're business owners. I would imagine, like, for me, it's been really important to put everything back in right now as we grow the company.
It keeps your taxes low too.
It keeps my taxes low, which has been a fantastic benefit, right?
And that's a big advantage, if you pull all the money out, you end up having to pay taxes on it, and then you've got that much less in net worth that year that you can really work with. And
we actually, here at Boom Club, we actually use like a percentage-based budget type program that I've developed, where the money comes in and I get X percent, for a salary, and then I allocate a percentage for profit. Yeah. Right. So in my budget, profit is kind of baked in there. Yeah. So at the end of the month, after we collect all of our revenue, we collect all of our revenue on the 1st and the 15th of every month. When you have predictable recurring revenue, it's a little bit easier on collections. Mm-hmm. Right. But at the end of the month, I know exactly how much money I have reserved for profit to invest back into the company. And over time, that's kind of compounding, right? Because we use a formula to manage our money. Yeah. And if practices can do that, reinvest their money back into or dentists can do that, reinvest their money back in their practice and continue to grow it, and even bake in, this amount of money this percentage of money is reserved for profit, and we use that profit to put back in the company. Yeah. The practice for several years, then they're more likely to be making the wise decisions.
Totally.
Right?
Yeah, I think it's important to try to maximize the value of that practice reinvestment early on in your career.
So early on, do it early on. So all you young guys, start now.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think there's different. You can only put your money to 4 places. It's going to go back in the business. It's going to go to real estate, or it's going to go into retirement accounts, or it's going to stay liquid. Yeah. And that's the only conscious places you could invest it. Okay. Now, where it could go every year, the annual income, it can only go to 4 places. Your income can only go to 4 places, which is spend, save, debt, or tax. So you can pay taxes, you can pay down debt, you can spend it, or you can save it. Yeah. Now, when you save it and pay down debt, it's going to one of those 4 places I mentioned. It's either going to real estate, it's going to retirement accounts, it's going to grow your business. And so, early on in your life, building your practice asset and building your liquid assets, to me, those 2 things are much more important than the retirement accounts and the real estate. Yeah. And I would let the retirement accounts and the real estate start to come in when you have a mature income and you've built up a nice amount of liquidity.
What would be a mature income for a practice?
Like a practice owner that feels like they've reached their potential in terms of what is going to be. Like at this point, you're now just going to grow your collections more modestly. You're using all your operatories, and you're as productive as you can be. The reason I'm not going to throw out a number is average.
It's going to be.
But average dental income nationally is like 180 and change. But that includes all the associates that don't.
Yeah, really, that's not just focusing on business owners.
And the practice owners, in my experience, are going to be more in that in the mid 2s to high 2s. That are at those. I would say those types of practices are generally underachieving their potential.
What they can really do. Yeah.
And so I think it's important that you're looking at look at all the operatories that you've got and ask yourself the question. Am I as productive as I could possibly be and am I kind of at the point where I'm content
Yeah.
with what I'm going to be? If you're content with where you're going to be and you feel like it's you're at a comfortable income place for the size of your practice and the number of days you want to work, then I'm saying now you can move on to kind of tackling those other kind of parts of your life. But in the meantime, build your liquid assets and your practice value until you get to that point.
Yeah.
I think people just handicap themselves.
So
by
liquid
trying to spread
assets,
it.
can you be like, what are some
So
examples
a
of
bank
that?
account could be a liquid asset.
Okay.
I don't keep more than 1 to 1.5 months of practice overhead in a bank account, and then personally, I don't keep personally more than 3 months of personal living expenses, but never more than 6. And so those are the bank account balances I would have. If you don't have that much, you got to get that much, because that's the bare minimum level of like functional liquidity, where I think your brain will start to. There's a meaningful difference in how you'll feel when you get to that level of liquidity.
Yeah. You're not as stressed.
Yeah, it's not like
If
now
something
you can
happens.
think about the smart choice, not like the just survival. There's a lot of practice. Most practices are not even there.
Yeah,
They just survive, and
I managed my dad's dental lab before
Yeah.
this, and it was they're doing awesome now, but at the time it was survival mindset, right? And it's not fun to have.
Yeah,
that
well,
mindset.
and a lot of times the reason they're there is because they're not investing properly in their practice, or they're throwing money at real estate in a way that they don't need to.
They're just kind of distracted.
Yeah.
When it comes to their financial decisions.
Yeah.
When they got an amazing asset.
Yeah.
Which is the practice.
Yeah.
Which then, once it matures, you can then use it to do real estate or other retirement accounts.
I mean, there's a ton of things to invest money in that we could talk about, but I'd say the first thing is just get that liquid asset.
Everyone's talking about like cryptocurrency right now. I don't know if you're into that.
Yeah. So like if crypto, in my mind, still is a liquid asset.
Yeah.
Because
you can put money in Bitcoin, let's say, and then you can still pull it out.
Yeah.
Hopefully it went up. But
yeah. It depends on, like, there's anything that is not in a retirement account,
which is not liquid.
Which in my mind, that's not really liquid,
because you can't pull it out till you're a certain age.
It can be converted to cash quickly.
Yeah.
But you can't get access to it without a penalty. So to me, it falls into a different camp.
Yeah.
And when I look at liquid assets, I think of a pot of money that I could quickly convert to cash with no penalty, that I've already paid taxes on.
Mm-hmm.
That and that could be it
So
can be bank accounts.
Bank accounts.
It can be any public security of any kind that you could convert to cash. So it could be a stock, a bond, a mutual fund. That could be a municipal bond. It could be a corporate bond. It could be a stock mutual fund. It could be a bond mutual fund. It could be an ETF. It could be an option. It could be cryptocurrency. Anything that is convertible to cash that can be traded in an exchange.
Yeah.
That pretty much covers the gamut of what a liquid. It's more about the type of account that it's in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, real assets like bullion and coins and real estate and farmland, those don't fall into liquid assets for me. They're not. They're just not.
Because it takes a lot of capital. You put your capital in there. Let's say it's $100K.
Yeah.
In a down payment or something, you can't really pull that out.
Yeah, and as soon as you put it in, then you got to discount it by 6%, which is what you're gonna have to pay the realtor to sell it anyway. And so you're kind of it's a lot more longer term, less liquid kind of thing. And
that's the last thing that any really practice owners, business owners like me and you.
Yeah,
that's the last thing that should be
put
their money in.
The order should be practice.
What practice?
The practice, liquidity, retirement accounts, and then real estate.
Okay.
Because retirement accounts at least bring your taxes down.
Yeah.
And free up more liquidity. And I that's the kind of order. If I had limited resources, some people have plenty to do all of them.
Yeah.
Some people have limited resources, and if you do, that's kind of the order. And the reason that the reason I do that is if you look out in retirement, that's the order in which you're going to be withdrawing stuff.
Yeah, that's smart.
It's
I never thought of it that way. This is good for me.
It's like first you're going to sell the business,
and
then you get that money, and then you're going to spend your liquid assets because you don't want to tap your retirement accounts until as late as you can possibly go. The government makes you take money out when you're 70.
Yeah.
And so that's when you'd want those to defer.
Yeah.
And then your real estate, for most people, they don't want to touch that.
Keep holding that.
If you bought it once, you might as well hold the thing.
Yeah.
You already ate the cost of acquiring it in the first place. Unless you just, there's times where in the middle of your career, early in your career, I would advise dumping some of your real estate if it's causing your business to be
to be
struggle. Underperforming.
Yeah.
But if it's, if you've already bought it, like, you're not going to sell it for, you should be holding real estate for
as long as you can.
As long as you can. Just like I would recommend holding a stock for as long as you can, or anything, or a business for that matter, as long as you can.
Yeah.
The best holding period.
Why rush to sell something that is such an awesome asset
Yeah.
in business?
Once you say I'm going to sign up for it, Warren Buffett says the best holding period for any asset is forever.
Yeah.
And so I think that.
So committing to it. Right?
When you just commit to it at the right time and then hold it.
Yeah.
And then add pieces to your net worth at the right time and keep yourself nice and diverse. Yeah. But I just like the idea of the order to build is going to be the order of withdrawal, and that's why it's important.
I like that.
Imagine
that gives me. Do you have like a diagram for that?
Yeah.
You're good with diagrams.
Yeah, I do.
I've seen
I have a pretty picture.
All your stuff.
Yeah.
With that. Yeah. I'd love to.
Yeah.
Post that somewhere.
I mean, if you imagine, what if you did it in the opposite order, which is what most people do? Like, to get out of college, like, I need to own some real estate, because that's what Warren Buffett told me, or like some random thing, or I read Robert Kiyosaki's book, and the Rat Race tells me, I got to do it. So it's like, okay, I mean,
but in that, let's go in that book. He does talk about business, because that's book.
He does
motivated me to do business, not real estate.
Yeah.
In a weird way. I don't know why, but that's kind of what I took from the book. Is do business. Because he tells a story about his dad that's not his dad, it's his friend's dad, right?
Yeah. And it's a fake person anyway.
It's a fake person anyways, yeah. and that he owns a business or multiple businesses.
Yeah.
And then he uses that business to buy other assets.
Yes.
Just I'm sure in a similar way that you're educating here.
Yeah.
But that's kind of how I took away that book. But most people take that book and say, I need to buy a bunch of real estate now.
Yeah, and right? I think what they don't realize is real estate is a place to park the money.
Yeah.
Kind of like
it is
stocks or mutual funds, or they're not competing things. Like, you don't have to like decide if real estate does better than the stock market, or these are stores of wealth. You should have both of them, and they should be places you park money when you're ready to park money, and you don't want to reinvest
when you've earned enough and the practice or business is doing
to reach your personal goals.
Yeah.
Because some people's personal goals might not be the same. They're not the same. Like, your personal goal, this listener might be, I want one location, no associates, and I just want to be doing 1.5. Or I want to be doing 1.1. Or 850 is great for me based on my goals, like who I am. Like, that's the level I want to work, Mm-hmm. And I don't want to say there's a right number of collections or right number of income.
Yeah.
There's not. But if you have a growth-oriented goal, man, like, the more conscious you can be about growing the business to that size as soon as possible, the more successful you'll be. And the more you neglect it and don't give it the capital it needs, because you're like, well, I got to buy this real estate. I mean, they said that the book said, like, if I don't have real estate, like, I'm not going to be wealthy. Like, that's what the wealthy people do, right?
Yeah.
Then you take the money, you park it in real estate. The first thing, the business is like, I need money. Like, you have all this equity in real estate, and in the business, the real estate would go up in value even if you didn't have that much equity in it. Can we get the equity out?
Yeah. So
that I can grow? Because I still have a membership program. I still don't have a good office manager. I still have an associate.
So much that the owner can do to the practice to make it better.
Yeah, and but he's got to park in real estate, because like that's how it's like.
Yeah.
And it's just not the right order.
It's just tied up.
And I think the example you gave is instructive, which is the guy already had successful businesses, and it was healthy, and it was vibrant, and had reached its potential.
That's what I gathered.
And then he was parking it in other places
as he grew and matured.
Yeah. Now the most optimal thing he could have done was start another one of the first things he already did. Yeah. Whatever that made him the money in the first place, he should have taken the money and
continued
done
doing
that again. So that's where me and Robert Kiyosaki kind of part ways. I'm like, were you just trying to sell real estate courses, or
absolutely,
was this?
That's it. That's his business.
Yeah, it's like he really sells the real estate courses, and but I think that there is no investment that can return your capital as quickly as a business can.
I couldn't agree more.
And so, but there is a point in life when you got to just say,
can I build another business like this, or should
I'm good.
Yeah.
It's time to park.
Yeah.
I'm not that smart. Like, everyone reaches their point of like, I'm kind of like scared about maybe that next level of risk.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's age that does it to you, and sometimes it's like humility or loss.
Yeah.
But some people are just real conservative, and they never test the limits, and they'll never know. But the business investment is by far the most high. That is the only reason why someone with a $30,000 annual income could have a net worth of $100 million.
Yeah,
is because they built that business asset.
Right investments.
It happened. It was Instagram, or it was it was a DSO that just went lights out because of the way they were targeting a specific procedure and a group of patients and a specific submarket, and you can just never do that with real estate or anything else.
Businesses.
And so I like the idea of thinking of things like, where am I going to park the money versus how am I going to grow it?
Yeah.
Because if you,
I like that.
If you went, and the thing is, people always complain about dental school tuition. I'm like, baked into that tuition is the fact that this is a business opportunity that you can go and take advantage of.
Yeah.
And that's why it costs $550 or $600 to get through dental school.
Yeah.
I mean, you get out of USC right now, you're a GP and you're north of $500.
Yeah.
Well, if you're just going to go be an associate, I mean, I could see why that'd be a little bit scary, because baked into the tuition is this entrepreneurial opportunity that's out there.
Totally.
And you either take advantage of it or
not.
Don't. But I could see why it's starting to not be worth it if you just wanted to go and work as a dentist.
Not think of it as a financial investment.
Yeah, because for a lot of people it's not. They just want to go get a job.
Yeah.
After dental school, it's like, well, that probably won't pay back your student loans.
No.
Because the market has this crazy cool opportunity of vibrant different types of practices, DS ownership, expansion, crossing state lines, non-dentists can own dental practices.
Absolutely, yeah.
I mean, it's like vibrant and a cool ecosystem, but if you're not going to take advantage of that,
then don't buy a practice.
Don't go to dental school.
Don't go to dental school.
I mean, it's like...
you got that low, It's
like...
I agree.
Because what'll happen, like, in a scenario where all the DSOs took over the world and there was just a bunch of associates, the price of dental school starts getting dropped.
Yeah.
Because now the opportunity no longer has to be claimed by a dentist. It's all the MBAs and the non-dentals. And they're like, we don't need to go to dental school now because you don't have to be a dentist to own the dental practices. Yeah. And so the dental school tuition will go down.
Yeah.
Well, and then but that wouldn't happen because there's too many entrepreneurial dentists right now that are like super ambitious, and they're like, no way, I want that opportunity.
Yeah.
So just know that like the opportunity, that it's there to take advantage of. That's why you're paying a lot for dental school. It's why this industry.
So use it to your advantage.
Yeah, you got to use it to your advantage and invest in it early, and don't park it in Robert Kiyosaki's book, and don't play rat race game because it'll confuse you for a while.
Yeah. Wait, put it in the business.
Yeah.
Anyways,
that was a good episode.
I think this is a good episode for everybody there. Reese, where can people find you?
Dude, here at your office.
Hanging out.
Yeah, go to dentistadvisors.com/education, sign up for the podcast, and start learning some more. Just listen to the podcast episodes. We hash through stuff like this every week.
Yeah, it's awesome. Awesome podcast. I listened to it. I've been on it a couple of times.
Yeah, man.
It's a fun one.
Your episodes are great.
So check out Reese, and thanks for watching our show here.
Carry on.